touchdowns last night. One with Clement maintaining control in the back of the end zone. The other with tight end Zach Ertz extending the ball across the goal line there. All right, let's break this down. Greg, first of all, you think the refs got both of these calls correct?
I do. I absolutely do. I think, number one, Zach Ertz, we shouldn't even be looking at this. That's clearly a catch. That's clearly a receiver turning into a runner. He died. That was, why are we even talking about this? I mean, even when I was listening to the game, I love Chris Collinsworth, but come on.
He was confused.
Are you kidding me, Chris?
Flat confused.
Yeah. I'm like, I love what he does. Chris, stop. You play receiver. He's caught the ball. He's now running. He dove. Nothing close to the Pittsburgh Patriots.
CC, explain just real quick before we get to the more controversial ones. Just CC, explain to the audience, because we all agree on the Zach Ertz play, the difference between that and Jesse James.
Well, Ertz had control, and if the defensive back wouldn't have been there, he wouldn't have fallen. That's what the referee, he can bring into question, was the guy going to stay up or not? And Zach would have stayed up. There was contact there with McCourty, but he had 2 steps possession, something that's common to the game. He did all those things, and he began to lunge. So people want the rule at the goal line where a receiver is a running back and the ground can't cause a fumble. Well, when you have possession of it, he is a running back.
Right.
So if
that play was over before the ball ever came loose.
It was over because Ertz did the right things. Stay upright. If you go to the ground, all these things. Now, if he would have gone to the ground, then that right there, they would have negated it.
Right.
So try to stay on your feet as much as possible. It makes the rules a lot easier.
So we all agree on the Zach Ertz thing. He caught the ball, turned into a runner, then lunged. You said now let's talk about the other one, the Corey Clement one.
Corey Clement, it's a great catch. This is my issue with this catch rule. Now all of a sudden, if the ball has any subtle kind of movement,
here it is.
It's to be reviewed and incomplete potentially. Look, the ball can move, but it's about, do you maintain possession? That's the catch. Like, the ball can move, but
that's
do you
the Bertie Manuel rule from the playoffs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the St. Louis Rams. The reason why they changed the rule, because the ball hit the ground and moved. So then they altered the language in the rule, because the rule hasn't changed. What they've basically done is alter the language.
So with him going to the ground, now if the ball moves and he goes to the ground, because the ball moved before he ever even went to the ground, but he has to maintain possession while going to the ground and creating contact between him and the ground. The ball never moves once he hits the ground.
Well, this is the thing that when did he have possession? A lot of times because he caught the ball in his chest. All right, you're allowed to catch the ball and transfer the ball into your running arm. And that's what he did. People think that this is the Kelvin Benjamin play. It's not the Kelvin Benjamin play. He has possession now. 1, 2, 3.5.
Okay.
All right?
So here's the thing. I am not going to argue with either of these great wide receivers about the merits of what is and what is not a catch. But I can, on totally equal footing, argue with you guys on this one. All year long, that play has been called differently depending on who the officials are. All year long, that play has been either a catch or overturned to a non-catch because some referees, and I know Al Riveron's running the thing, so maybe he's got, depending on the day, when he readjusts it, because after what I would call the bobble, that foot doesn't get down. And all year long, the games I've been watching, sometimes that's a touchdown because that left foot is out.
So this is where you're not on equal footing, okay? He didn't bobble the ball, all right?
He never bobbled the ball.
Okay.
He transferred the ball.
Okay, and so that what I'm telling you is that maybe I used the wrong terminology. Plays that look like that all year long have been called inconsistently in the replay
We've seen that play overturned, but I judge every play on itself. Everyone's trying to say, well, Ertz is Jesse James, and this is the No, they're not. Every play is a story in itself. He had possession in his chest. He transferred it into his running arm, so his last foot hitting the line has nothing to do with the catch.
Yeah, and for me, this is the reason why I become frustrated with things like this is because the league has done this to themselves. The league has clearly done this to themselves because they're making it difficult for referees to just make a play and stick with that. Now referees are depending upon the replay to confirm and call and judge out what is a catch and what is not a catch. So the refs really don't have any merit here. They just make a call and then they go to replay and then it gets overturned or it gets accepted as what we saw it was. But that's a catch.
And I also talked to Tony Romo. I did an event with Tony Romo on Sunday morning. And we talked about replay. And I told Tony how much we enjoy the game. Told him how much you enjoy his commentating.
I like Romo.
But he said we're gun shy as announcers. So Chris Collinsworth, he had it wrong. But as announcers, talking to an announcer, they're a little gun shy because of what you talked about, what's happening this season, how the refs have been inconsistent, so it affects how they call the game.
How much of this gets addressed in the offseason? Are we having the same conversation next year?
It seems like that is what, at its core, from hearing from Roger Goodell, from hearing Roger Goodell name check my partner here. By the way, Commissioner Goodell, the first time about 6 months ago you name-checked my partner when he had a story on Ezekiel Elliott and said, Chris Carter, I didn't know he worked in the league office. Oh, but then right after the season, my man's called up to the league office to help out some things. So I've just 2 times been name-checked. I'm just pointing that out. But more importantly, what the NFL wants, I think, is for that play that we saw from Corey Clement to consistently be called a catch. Because, by the way, I think that should be a catch. I want that to be a catch. My complaint was not that he didn't catch it. My complaint was
that it was called.
Throughout the year, it felt to me like when I was watching games, oh, that's going to be overturned, like because the foot touched. And I want to know while I'm watching. I knew the Zach Ertz thing was going to be a touchdown.
But the reason it's an issue is because we're looking at the referees that are on the field of play. They're not making that judgment call.
No,
so it's going back to the league office, and they're making the same call with all the same looking plays every single week. So this is the issue that they have to deal with. They have to become more consistent. This is not the referees who are on the field.
Roger Goodell's going to change the rule. He's going to change.
He has to.
Fans will be excited for the 2018 season. They're going to change it.
You heard it here. First, second, and third.
I ain't happy with it, but
It's going to get changed. Greg, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Coming up.